everyone, this is Dina. I'm the Nightly Stitcher here on YouTube and Instagram. And it's been 2 days coming over. I feel so awkward. When I don't do a video regularly, I feel like I'm starting all over again. And this is the second try because I shut my camera off instead of pausing it. Go figure. So anyway, this is February 28th, 2023. This is the first year anniversary of me starting my floss tube. And I'd never really thought about having something like this, so making it a whole year has been pretty exciting. Let's see. What was I going to say? Because like I said, I started this twice and I was already talking about stuff, so it's like, what did I say? If you notice, no glasses. I had my cataract surgery, which is why I haven't done any floss tubes in the last month. I had my right eye, had the surgery done on it on the 31st of January, and then I had the left eye done on February 21st. They put a toric lens in both eyes. They said it, I have astigmatism, so I couldn't get just the plain old implant, so I had to pay out of my pocket on that, which wasn't very good. But anyway, I see really, really good at a distance. I'm very pleased with it. The only thing is from about mid-range up, I can't see squat. So I have to have these for right now. I use these to stitch and read by. And the reason why I didn't do a video was I didn't want to keep pulling these on and off and on and off so I could talk to you all, but then turn around and look at what I had down here. But it looks like it's going to be that way anyway. And I have an appointment to get my eyes checked. I had them checked when they, I had to go back the next day after each surgery. And they looked at my eyes. And then I had just a quick little eye chart read. And they said I had 20/15 in both eyes. So I'm better than 20/20. And it's amazing at a distance how clear everything is and how bright the colors are. So, it's really been nice. So, but I just get aggravated with having to pack these around, and I try to keep them on my head, and then I bend over and they fall off. And I need to get one of those old lady chains. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that, but you know, the chain that goes around your neck and you put your readers in, and yeah, I'm sorry. I call them old lady chains, and I'm an old lady, so that's just the way it is. So, but anyway, let's see. I was stitching this on my right eye. They did the surgery, and I was about 4 or 5 days getting it cleared up to where I was stitching. I stitched on the evening of the second day and just put magnifiers on. And I have the white headband. If I know you all have probably seen them. They're just like a white headband. They have like this type of earpiece on them. But they also come with a light. But the problem I'm having with them, they dig into my nose so bad that I even bought the little pads to put on your nose pieces, and they're still digging in. They're kind of heavy. The first pair that I bought used, I think, 2 AA or AAA batteries. Well, that made them too heavy, and I didn't need the light anyway, so I took the batteries out and I just used them that way. But they're heavy and they dig into my nose. So anyway, I bought a second pair so I could have them in the bedroom while I was reading, which still the same problem with digging into my nose. So we were at Walmart the other day, and I got these readers, and they're a lot better, but they're not the exact prescription I need. So I may end up having to still get glasses for stitching and reading. But anyway, yeah. But what I was saying is I was stitching on the second night of having my right eye done, And the left eye, when I had it done, I was stitching the next morning. I got up, and I think part of it, what had happened, this eye, I just, after surgery, I just went on about my business. They told me I wouldn't remember anything when they did the surgery on it, and I remembered everything. I don't like that feel. I don't like knowing what they're doing. It's just like, just do it and knock me out, and when it's done, wake me up. But anyway, she said I wouldn't know what they were doing. I wouldn't hear, or, hear anything or remember anything. And I heard everything going on in there. In fact, they didn't even give me anything until I was in the surgery room, and they were prepping everything. And I thought, golly, when are they gonna give me something to kind of chill me out? So the anesthesiologist finally came in there and gave me something, but like I said, it wasn't that much. So when so then, come home, went on, did whatever I needed to do. My eye bothered me, so I walked around some with its closed, just, one peep eye. But anyway, the second eye, when they did it, she asked me how I did, and I said, well, I knew all this was going on, and this and this. And she said, well, I'll give you a little bit more anesthesia. She said, they just don't want to put you completely out, which is fine. Well, she did, and I don't really remember what was going on in there. She gave it to me earlier this time, so I barely remember going down to the OR. So anyway, they did my eye. I woke up, slept all the way home in the car, slept all day. We got home probably about 11 o'clock that morning, and I come home, walked in the house, and hit the couch and slept all day. And I have these like memory foam eye masks that I like to wear, so I put those on, and I just slept, or laid there on the couch if I was awake. I just kept that eye mask on, and I was there all afternoon. Steve woke me up to eat supper, and I was barely awake for that. Ate my supper and laid back down on the couch with my eye mask, and spent the evening on that. Then finally went up and went to bed. So the next morning I got up, and my eye that they had worked on was really, really clear, and it didn't feel scratchy. I was amazed at the difference between the two. Now, they said the cataract in my right eye was a thicker cataract, so maybe that had something to do with it too. But anyway, I started stitching that morning. So the morning after my surgery, within 24 hours, I was stitching. So, but I have to use readers or some type of magnification. So yeah, it was not a big deal. Everybody said it wasn't a big deal. I knew with Steve's, it's not a big deal. So don't be afraid if you have to have cataract surgery, because it's really a good thing. So it's just so bright and colorful and all. So, but I may have to go back to glasses. I've worn glasses since elementary school, and like I said, I don't know if I already said that, because this is my second take, but I've worn glasses since elementary school. So it seems kind of weird not to have glasses. And, I catch myself once in a while reaching up to push my glasses up or whatever. So it does feel weird. So anyway, let's see. In the last month, I was trying to think of what I've done. Not a whole lot other than stitch. I've stitched. I've done some kind of piddly little things. But I think that's pretty non-eventful. We did some antiquing. I got some haul from the antique shops to show you. I don't have any haul from cross stitch at all, but have quite a bit to show you. So okay, here we go. I got to get these on. I'm gonna show you my progress book, and if you've been following me, you know my project planner. I write down what I've stitched each day, how many stitches I put on it. I put my stars on. For a green is a start, a red is a day that I did not stitch. A gold star is something that I finished. So as you can see in January, these are my stats. Let me get this up here. I had 3 starts and 2 finishes in January, and this 28th day of February, so I'm gonna be ready to give you February stats. So yeah, this is January stats. So I think I can read this without glasses. So my total stitches for January was 11,862 stitches. I had 27 days that I stitched out of 31, so I didn't stitch 4 days. And I stitched on a total of 8 different projects. So I was pretty pleased with that. I've set this up this year to where I'm stitching from my oldest, starting with my oldest whip, and I've told you all this before too. I'm starting with my oldest whip, moving forward. I'm spending 5 days on a whip, and then maybe a day or two I either work on a small project or start a small project, so whatever. So anyway, that's been going pretty well. Now February, this is where I had my eye surgery on the 31st of January. So I've had 5 days so far that I did not stitch this month. I did have a finish there and a finish there, which I'll show you later. I am on day 3 of my current whip, so I have 2 more days to spend on it, and then I'll switch over to a small project again. So my next, well, I am going to show you my FOs. This was a start and a finish. This was one of my smalls that I counted it as a small. And this is called Harriet's Valentine Bouquet by Summer House Stitchworks. And I started this. It's on a 36 count. And let me see if I can get some white behind it. It's on 36 count, but I don't know what the color is. I just had it in my stash. What is that up there? Oh, it was the... I thought it was something on my fabric, but it's the hole in my notebook paper. So, yeah, that is Harriet's Valentine Bouquet. I used the called for floss for it, and it is Gentle Art. So, I was wanting to get this finished, but I just haven't gotten it done again. I'm not very good at finishing. I'm not very fast at finishing, let's put it that way. I'm okay with my finishes. But I think I'm going to make this into a pillow, but I think I may put walnut shells and just a little bit of fiber fill in it. So I really like this one. So anyway, let me put this one over here and get a drink. It is getting hot here today. The winter has been so strange here in Missouri. We have had mornings we get up to 12 degrees, and the next day we get up and it's in the 50s. I mean, it's probably mid-50s right now. It's supposed to get to, I think, around 60, 62 today. I don't remember a February ever being this warm. So, anyway, you can tell I'm hot. My glasses are steaming up, sitting on top of my head. Hang on just a minute. So anyway, this is one of my whips. This was my 3rd oldest whip, I believe. And it was called Sampler Girls by M Designs. Had several people that wanted this, or that was looking for this pattern. It's out of print apparently, but you can find it. I think if you go to M Designs website, I think she has a web page. I think you can email her and see about getting it there. But I thought this was very cute. I did everything. Wait a minute. Let me stand up. This border, I did not use the color it called for. Here, it'd be easier to read my note. Okay. the color on top, I am not sure. It was a Threadworks. And I don't know what color that was, but it's a little variegated color. As we roll down, I forgot to put a heart right in here, but I'm really not into hearts that much. So after I saw that, I thought I'm not going back to do it because I don't really care for hearts that much. I'll do a few of them. I ran out down here where these, let me find it, gotta go down a little farther. Okay, this little row of girls, they were all done in the same color, Grape Arbor, except for the last one. It called for a different color for just the last one. Well, I ran out of Grape Harbor before the last one. I ran out and I had to do the last two, and I picked a color. Let's see, what did I use? Ran out of Grape Harbor, so I used Highland Heather for the last two girls. So, and you know, back when little girls did samplers, if they ran out of something, they just used something else. So I'm okay with that. And then Idle Hands call for Grape Harbor, but I used Claret, which was right here where it says Idle Hands make for idle minds. I liked the Claret better, so I used it. And then anything that needed back stitching as far as words, I usually use 2 strands. Even though something will call for 1 strand, I'll still use 2 strands. So, and then I put my name here. Oh, I forgot about this. I had a designer's choice. You know how that is? This is, I had stitched this. I was trying to think how I did this. I had all these girls in, all of them, clear across the bottom. So I stitched this I have wrought, and when I got ready to put my name in, when I got over there, I didn't leave the right number of spaces between Idle Minds and this I have wrought. So when I was going to put my name in here, then the girls were going to be standing on the very top of my name, right on top of it. So I ended up, I graphed it out and made it fit. So this kind of comes across, drops down just a bit, a stitch or two. I think it's just a stitch, and it goes on over. But I thought, I am not ripping out all these little girls and moving them down one row. So that's just the way it is. And then I put the year down here, which I never think to do that. My husband's always getting after me for not putting my name and the year on them. Okay, so those were 2 finishes that I did. And then my whips, I got out my Winter House Trio. That was the next in line to Sampler Girls. So I believe, yes. So I got out Winter House Trio by Waxing Moon. And I have now done all 3 of these. I did the first one, and I've showed this to you before. I did the first one here. And this is 28 count fabric. And I don't remember I started this so long ago. I know I just used a blue border. I didn't use what it called for. I used what I had. And so I did the winter. And then I decided to do it over 1 and make it into a little ornament. So that is all over 1. And then one day, I think it was during my whip parade. Might have been my whip parade, not this last one, but the one before. I hadn't put the snowflakes in at the bottom, and doesn't want to focus on the snowflakes. Okay, well, anyway, there's the snowflakes right at the bottom. I was going to put just little white buttons on there because I really don't like stitching snowflakes, but the white buttons that I had were too big. They were going to come over across the blue line. So ended up going back and stitching the snowflakes in it. It didn't take me very long, so you know, it didn't kill me to do it, so I just did it. Then I just worked on this one for 5 days. I got this much done. So I've got to fill in the house. I think, let me see, this is windy. Okay, I got to fill in the house, and I believe that's it, because I put the snowflakes in at the bottom. So this one is almost done. So I'm now, since this one is so close to being done, I'm now calling this a small. So I'm going to work this in amongst my 5-day stitches and try to get that knocked out. So I really want to see more of my whips done this year. So, you know, a few days, I don't know, a couple of nights stitching, I should have that house filled in. Okay, this it's an ongoing sal by Stitch Brat. She's the one that started this. Halloween Hijinks by Carolyn Manning. And I had already had this started, so she has it sectioned off into 12 sections so that we can have it done by October 1st of this year. I already had a lot of January stitch, so I didn't have to stitch but about 4 squares in here. And then I have done February, so this is how much I have done there. And I'm not going to unroll it all because it's just the border goes all the way around and it's the same, but I think that is so cute. So I work on this starting the first of the month, and I stay with it until I meet my goal, which really isn't very many days. So that is Halloween Hijinks, and there is a hashtag on Instagram. If you go to Stitch Brat, you'll be able to find it. I think it's Halloween Hijinks 2023 Sal, or I'm not real sure. So you probably better just go to her website, and her Instagram page, and check it out. So the next one I pulled out in order of date started was A Flower a Day by Carolyn Manning. Get these shaky old hands to sit still. Okay, and that's that one. It's a color copy of the, but I didn't have my original handy. This is what I have done, and up there where you see as it looks like it's rolled under the scroll, that is really the beginning of it. So, and I wish I could get the color to look right on here because it's way off. We have a crybaby now. It's probably in that like 727 line. It is really bright, and I don't know how else to get the color to come out, but it's really bright. I said last time it's kind of a mustard yellow. It's really bright. But anyway, I got a lot done on that. Couldn't tell you what I did because it all kind of runs together. So, but I'm pleased with that. So set that over here. What? You cannot come up here right now. Are you going to cry and let everybody hear you? Okay. The next one I worked on is what I consider a small. So I would just spend a couple of days with it. And this is the Prairie Schooler 2006. It's the one with the sewing machine. So I started it, and I have this much done on it. I like these Prairie Schoolers, and it's on 18 count Davos, and it's stitched 2 threads over 1 thread. And pretty sure it's 2 threads. Yeah, it is. It's 2 threads over 1. So I'll just work on these smalls like whenever I feel like pulling something out that's little. Right now I've got a lot of smalls. I decided a lot of smalls that I want to stitch on. So Okay, we're gonna have to do this. So I'm just either gonna start something or stitch something that's already started, but it has to be a small for a 2-day stitch. And then it goes back in the basket. So what I am stitching on right now is Santa's Village. This is the next one in order of start date. And I finished the second house on the bottom. And then I moved over, and it's hard to see. Let me fold this up. I did the snowflakes. Whoops, are we folded? Yeah, hang on. I said I don't like snowflakes. Well, I just went ahead and knocked all the snowflakes out that was around the next house. So they're already done. I am ready to start on the next house, which is gift wrapping house. Will be what it is, but let me hold it back up. So again, there's Santa's house, poinsettia place. This is the post office, which I have to go back and stitch the clothesline the letters are hanging from. Mrs. Claus's cookie shop. Oh, I filled that house in. I forgot because I was showing this one time, and when I got to that, I had not filled the house in at all. So I filled that house in. It was with peanut brittle from Gentle Art. And then, let's see, the stocking house, I don't know, stocking emporium or something. The reindeer building, what was that? I do not remember. That one doesn't give it away very easily. I don't know. That is Candyland, I guess. Peppermint something. Then Santa's Sleigh Works. The gingerbread, I think that is Gingerbread Emporium. And then the gift wraps building is what I'm getting ready to do next. I think I have that, and then Mrs. Claus is the last one, I think, and I can't remember which one it is, but I think it's got Mrs. Claus on it. So that's what I've been working on since my last video. I did have someone that asked me again what the strapping is that I use on my, sounds like my husband's home and leaving. I had someone that asked me again what kind of strapping I use on my scroll rods that my husband makes for me. And so I thought I'm going to show it one more time, but I don't know what this is called. It's a weave. It's kind of heavy, but it's a weave. And the needle, when I glue these on to my rods, and wood glue with this is fine. I've never had a trouble with it popping off. Once it dries, I kind of check, make sure it's all glued down. But to take a sharp needle, it just goes right through there. So much easier than the fabric that comes on those rods. So I keep saying one of these days I'm going to replace all of it on my rods. Let's see where I am at. Oh, the cat pattern that I showed. I got a dog hair, sorry. The cat pattern that I showed a couple of videos ago. I had several people that said they found it on Etsy. It's the big freestanding cat that I stitched many years ago, and I don't have the pattern for it. And it was by Waxing Moon. And I went a while ago to double check, and I don't have the pattern for it because I thought, well, I'll show it to you if I did have it. But anyway, you can go to Etsy, and it's called Holiday Fat Cat. So you can buy it from the designer in a PDF form. And since I showed that, I've had so many people say, I bought the pattern. So I'm sure Waxing Moon's trying to figure out why they're selling so many of these old holiday fat cat patterns. But anyway, made them a little extra money, and he's really a cute cat. I've always had him out since I made him. I think he's very cute. Let's see, on down. Did ask you all a question last time, and I said, where do y'all stitch? Let me know where you stitch. Do you stitch in your craft room or sewing room, or do you stitch in your family room or living room or kitchen or dining room, or do you have a special chair or whatever? And I only stitch one place, and it's in my new chair I got right before Thanksgiving. That's the only place I stitch, unless if we're going camping or whatever. So I don't usually take my stitching with me. Of course, we don't go that often, but about the only time I take my stitching is if we're camping. If we're going to go someplace, road, just over to Columbia or something, I don't stitch. I can stitch in a vehicle, but I just don't usually. And the truck, it's a little rougher, so if we're taking the truck, I can't stitch quite so well in it. But anyway, the number one spot everybody stitched in was their living room or family room. The second most highest one was their sewing room and craft room. And then several people said they stitch all over the house, which I think that's kind of neat. Like I said, I tried to stitch in the bedroom one time, and the light's not good enough in our bedroom to stitch. But I do, I usually read in there, but I also have a quilt, a cross-stitch quilt, and it's the stamped embroidery, but it's cross-stitch. My mom started it before she passed away, and that was in 2010, so this is going on 13 years. But she had the stamped embroidery blocks, and I do stitch on that occasionally in bed, so I don't care for it that much. I mean, they're pretty when they're done, and I have some of her quilts, but I'm not as into a stamped cross-stitch piece as I would be the counted. So, but I'd like to get it done and then get it sewn together and quilted. So I do work on that some. I take spells. Right now I'm in the reading mode. So I just read a book that was called Prairie Fires, and it was about Laura Ingalls Wilder and her family, but there was a lot of documentation in it, so it was really interesting to read from the time that they started. I think it was up in Wisconsin. It was a pretty good sized book, but anyway, I was reading on that, and that was really good. But it brought you through her childhood. All their moves when she was a kid and when she was an adult, all through that. But it also, as it came towards the end, it was talking about how it chose to be a show on TV, and it had a little bit on Michael Landon and stuff. So it was interesting. If you like Laura Ingalls Wilder, it was interesting. Their daughter Rose, I don't know. I'm just gonna say she had issues. That woman had some issues, but anyway, if you like it, it's called Prairie Fires, and for some reason I'm thinking it's Carolyn Fraser might be the author of it, but it was a really good book. And now I'm reading the is it autobiography or biography? Whichever one they write their own life story. I can never remember if it's a biography or autobiography. But anyway, I'm reading it on Melissa Gilbert now, who played in Little House on the Prairie. So that's been pretty interesting. I think I'll finish it up tonight. So, all right, let's see. On to more stitch related stuff. I have showed you as far as from oldest to newest whip that I've been working on. My next in line for pulling out and stitching, like I said, I got 2 more days for Santa Village, and then I am pulling out the color of winter. And this is my progress on this. This is, I believe, an 18, it looks like an 18 count Ada that I dyed myself. But I have that much done. Missy, with 2 needles pulling thread, is also working on this. The colors are just so pretty. So that's where I stand on that. I do have the pattern, I think, in here. I'll show you the whole pattern. That's by the Blue Flower, and Janine McGowan is the designer for the Blue Flower, and everything she does is just beautiful. I have lots of her patterns. So this is, get a little closer, get rid of the glare. So it's really, really pretty. So that's what I will be pulling a couple of days from now after I finish my 2 more days on Santa Village. All right. And then, let me see what's left in here. Okay. Then Kathy Walker with 2 needles pulling thread. Her and, who was the other one? Alicia, I think it is. Alicia from Fanciful Flamingo. They're doing, can you sit somewhere else, please? Sit down right there. They are doing a bee start along, stitch along, whatever you want to call it. And you're right back in my way again. What the heck? Okay, let me look. Okay, it's called All the Bee Sal, and there's a hashtag All the Bee Sal. So it's ALLTHEBEESSAL on Instagram. And you can follow along on that. It can be anything bee related. I pulled this because I wanted to get it done. I bought it last year when I was at a retreat in Orange Beach, Alabama. The Rovaris sisters were there and they had a trunk show. So I bought this, and then it came with the spool, and this is a seam ripper. This is Murano glass from Italy, and it is stamped right in there on the glass. This is a laying tool, and these are my stork scissors, which were mine. They didn't come with scissors, but this little wooden spool. And then it came with the banding, which, well, I should have took it out. Come on. So it came with banding, and they gave you a generous amount of banding. So it's going to go around, goes around here, and even by the time you turn it under and sew it down, you still have this much. And there is scissor fob right here with the bee, so I'll be stitching it. But then there's still quite a bit I think is going to be left. So have the banding. It came with a little, turn it around. Oh, it's the same on both sides. It's 2-sided. It's hard to see, isn't it? It's a little crown. Hard to see though. Little crown charm, mother of pearl button. And then, I'm not going to take this out, but it's the ribbon to go with it. And there went my button. So, I want to get this started. And I think some people have already started it. I think Kathy already started hers from 2 needles pulling thread. She started it early, but it is starting on March 1st if you'd like to join in. So just pick anything bee related and have it in my bee bag. And then this is something that I want to start. I'm not sure what to do on the fabric. I may end up having to order the fabric. I also bought this from Roveras when we were down there. And I bought the little ceramic button that's right here. So I'd like to get that started for spring. And I don't know what fabric it calls for, but I only have this color. So see, it's not very close. This is more a yellow green. I have that color, and this is called tartan green. And I have that, so I think that's too blue. So I'm kind of stuck. I have a whole yard of this, and I was hoping to use some of it. But I think I'm going to have to find out what, I'm going to have to look and see if it says what fabric it's used for, or what it calls for, and go from there, because I'd really like to get that started, and it could, I think it's a quickie pattern, so I don't know whether I could consider that a small or not. So then another thing that I am wanting to do, hold up. I had this pattern called New Doors, and it says new doors, old keys, try this. Old keys won't open new doors. And I really like that. There's keys along the border, and then all the keys and locks there. Well, I bought this on vacation last year. And then I happened to be out Goodwill the other day, and I found this frame. Is that not cool? And it's got the easel back, so I can put it this away, or I can put it this away. And I gave $2.54 for it. And there was two out there, but I thought, I don't think I need two, but I thought that was awful cool. So what I wanted to do, my whole idea, I ran a copy of that pattern, and I cut all the keys out individually. I spent the afternoon doing this, and I'm sure with a program, you could do it on the computer a heck of a lot easier and quicker. And I'm just going to flash the pattern real quick. Doop, doop. So I have this figured out that it's going to go into this frame by 5 by 7 by putting it in this direction. So all it is the keys laid out in different directions, and then I kept the word, instead of old keys don't open new doors, I just kept the words old keys. So I want to get that started. I think that's going to look pretty cool. And I have a bunch of old keys. And this was my plan for this was, and like I said, I bought this last year. My plan was to do this, and I haven't done it yet. But I wanted to stitch this in a frame, and then I want to put hooks down here along the bottom, underneath the frame, on the bottom edge, and then take some ribbon and tie some old keys to the bottom of it. So I don't know if I'm ever going to get it done, but that was the plan. So let me get another drink. Moving along, 43 minutes. On haul, the only thing I have cross stitch was, I got my cross stitch, just cross stitch magazine. No, yeah, just cross stitch magazine. This one was so-so, I thought. You know, I'm sure other people liked patterns real well, but it was just kind of so-so for me this time. I did find some more Davos fabric for my Prairie Schoolers at a antique mall. So I got this big old chunk, and I serged around the edge of it. And I think I give a couple of bucks for it. It wasn't very much. You know, a lot of times people that sell this stuff at flea markets or antique malls, they don't know what it retails for, so you can get some pretty good buys. I got this piece. It's a little bit lighter, but it still will hold a Prairie Schooler if I want to use it for that. I forgot my other main buy. I'll show it next time. I bought this pillow at another antique place, and we know the people that own it real well, and she said that when I took it up to the counter, she said, I washed all this, so it's good and clean. So the only thing about it, it shrunk this front. This is like a tapestry, and it was kind of puckered up all over, and the batting inside had gotten all balled up. Corners were all a mess. So I took it apart and I blocked it. I wet the front of it down and I blocked it. And I just thought it was so cute with the alphabet. And then I just used another fabric on the back of it. So I thought that turned out really cute. It's about probably an 8 by 8. No, it was a 9-inch square. I think it was 9.5-inch square. But I thought it was really cute. Now comes my other haul. Sort of. Wait a minute. Let's put this over here, Tootie. I wanted to show this again because I've had several people mention this. This is a case I found at Goodwill. And it opens up. Let me see. It opens up and this pulls off. And then I'm not going to be able to do this very easily. I couldn't the last time. Okay. I have nothing to set it on. Here. Let me try it this way. Okay. So this lifts out. This whole thing lifts out. There's a drawer down here at the bottom. And I've started putting stuff in there. I am going to use this for retreats. I'm going to be taking it to StitchCon with me. And I'm putting anything in there I think that we might possibly use, me or someone else. I have a little set of mini screwdrivers, which I dropped the other day and broke the lid off of it. So I put the mini screwdrivers in, a pair of bigger scissors, a measuring tape, and then in this, let's see if I can slide it over. This accordion's out, and I put notebook, Sharpie marker, and ink pen in this. Let me scoot this on over. I've got chapstick, nail file, nail clippers, lens cleaners, band-aids, eyeglass, fabric, hand lotion, stitch counters, needle magnets, these white pens, which I use these white corsage pins, and when I'm stitching, if I have to rip anything out, I use this to pull my thread out of my fabric, because there have been so many times that I will be ripping out with my needle with no thread in it, and I flip it and then it's gone, and we spend an hour looking for them, and sometimes we find them and sometimes we don't. So I now use these corsage pins. I've used them for quite some time. And if I flip that one, it's easier to find. I got a needle threader, which I rarely use, a corner gauge. I have one of these magnifiers that is from Loran. It's magnetic and it'll go to stick on your magnet board. Have some highlighters. Another magnet. So anyway, that's what I have in there, and I'm gonna put like some hand sanitizer, and I have a list of other stuff, I just haven't pulled it together. So anyway, then this, you just set it back in here, push the drawer in, put this up, this goes over it, and it closes. So I had several people that asked me if I knew what the name of this was called. I have no idea. There was nothing on the bottom. There was nothing inside, so I don't know what the name or the brand of this would be. But anyway, it's in really good shape. Like I said, I found it at Goodwill, and I just thought it'd be perfect for taking all my little things to StitchCon. Put a few snacks in there, and I think I'm gonna really like that. All right, back to some of the other stuff I found. I found this. We were trying to think of where I found this the other day. Jeff City. Went to an antique mall in Jeff City. And I found this sewing case. And I've got others like this, but I have some that are plain. I have some that have like oriental coins hanging from them, but I don't have one that has the tassel. And this feels like silk. I think that it is silk. But I really like this, and it's in such good shape. So I bought that. And you all know, I think by now that I collect sewing baskets, so I have a lot of them. And I was going to do a video while I was, letting my eyes clear up. Thought, I'm going to do a video. I keep saying I'm going to do a video of my sewing room and my quilting room. And I had both rooms somewhat cleaned and organized, but not quite the way I wanted it. So now it's a wreck again. So I don't know when I'll do it. I bought this sewing basket at a shop in Jeff City, and I don't have one like this, so I was really excited to get this one. It has a decal on the front, and it's just it has the two little strings, and then the lid comes, you just raise the lid and it slides over. And it even has a little place to put your little spools of thread. And that black spot in the bottom is a button that is stuck in the bottom of that, and it will not come off. And I wasn't going to take a chance of breaking the bottom of it or making the paint peel or something. So anyway, I really liked this. So that was another cool find. We've been antiquing quite a bit lately. My husband actually found this for me. He hit a flea market somewhere. It's got a little drawer, and it opens up here. There goes the drawer. Let me try this different. It opens up on both sides, but I think I might replace this fabric and put something more vintage looking in it. I don't like that print that great. And it needs to be touched up, either repainted or stained or something. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do yet, but it needs to be touched up a little bit. So he found me that. I found this at Goodwill. It's a dusty tray. I'm sure you'll see it. Yeah, it's just a tray that I thought was kind of neat. And I like to put stuff in trays. So, found that. And then the last thing I was going to show you, I think, other than the big buy I got, and I'll show it next time, so you have to come back, is this sewing bird. I guess that's a sewing bird's what they call them. But anyway, I found this at the same shop I found, what was it? I don't remember now. Oh, the pillow. This pillow. I found those in the same place. So I put the threads on it, some old wooden spools, and I put this rubber thimble I had on it, and then this pair of scissors. I'd like to find a pair of scissors that is a closer match to that pink, but this was the best I could do. So, and I think they used to make these years ago. I think husbands probably made them for their wives, but I didn't have one of those, so I had to buy it. And last of all, I guess, I have my drawing winners from last time. I was giving away this garden chart with the charms that go with it. This was patterned by Heinzit, and it is, let me put this back in here. These weren't in Ziploc bags, so I found some little bags to put them in. And the winner of this is Sydney Von Flew. So, Sydney, you need to contact me through either Instagram direct message me through Instagram, or I will put my email in the description box below, and email me with your name and address, and I'll get that in the mail to you. The next one was Spring. I think it's, let me look here. It's called Spring Cottage. This was a kit, and I stitched it up with the pink fabric. It's got 2 little butterfly buttons on there that you could either use or not. One butterfly button. It's on the pine tree, so really it wouldn't make much difference if you used it or not. But you could also just put a button on there, a butterfly button of any kind. So the winner of this one is Debbie Mason. So Debbie, again, email me or private message me through Instagram, and I'll get this in the mail to you. And the last one that I was giving away is the piece of fabric that I dyed. This is an Ada. I think this would look so cool with some orange Halloween stuff on it. But yeah, I dyed this piece. So the winner for this is Wendy Eastman. Let me put this back in here. There. Wendy Eastman. So Wendy, my nose is itching. Okay. Wendy, email me or private message me again through Instagram with your name and address, and I'll get these in the mail. So anyway, Wendy Eastman, Cindy Von Flew, and Debbie Mason. So you all are the winners of my giveaway from last time. Now, let's see if there's anything else left. I don't think there is. I have some haul that's ordered. I ordered it the other day, but it didn't get here in time, so I'll have that next time too. So anyway, if you stuck with me this long, thank you. Oh, what is our time? 57 minutes. How about, no, I can't do it. Never mind. I'll have to do it next time. So this is at 57 minutes. We'll just call it done this time. So anyway, if you stayed for the whole thing, I really appreciate that. Like I said, if you would like to subscribe and hit the notification, you'll get notified next time I do another video, which should be in 2 weeks. I like to do them every 2 weeks, but sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. But anyway, I like to keep them for 2 weeks. There are so many floss tubers out there that I'm still finding floss tubers that have like 20, 30, 40 videos that I've never heard of. So I have a few regulars that I watch, but then I've been trying to watch some that I haven't seen. You know, they pop up on your Instagram. Not Instagram. They pop up on your YouTube as recommended, or somebody else also likes, you know, watch whatever. But I like to check them out and see who they are and what they like to stitch. And, you know, I subscribe to some and some I don't, because, you know, we can't watch them all. But, and everybody's different, you know. What I like, you may not like, and, you know, you got to have something that you have in common with that stitcher. So either, yes, hello there. You know, you like the same style of stitching that they do. I think that's probably number one. And then just enjoying listening to somebody and talk about their life and what they do. But I watched Mouse Potato Designs last night, but I've been watching so many. I watched my regulars: Mouse Potato Designs, Two Needles Pulling Threads, Fanciful Flamingo, Brendan Laura, the Serial Starter. But I had wrote down some new ones that I subscribed to, and I left that downstairs, so I'll have that next time. But I think that's about it. I don't know of anything else. So I guess we'll let you go at 59 minutes and 48 seconds. So Anyway, I'll see you next time. And until then, I hope you have a good 2 weeks and get lots of stitching done. And hopefully enjoy this nicer weather. It should be breaking here for all of us pretty quick. So anyway, I'm going to enjoy today and tomorrow. It's supposed to be about 60. So anyway, get lots of stitching done, and I'll see you next time. Bye.